Mingles with Kraken, number 17, the Halloween edition. Let's talk about that. Let's get cracking. Halloween is a tough time of the year for Kraken because I can't hide my good looks anymore. I kind of have to let the beast out of Davy Jones' locker, let's say. So welcome to another episode of Kraken's Garage. You get to see the real Kraken today on Halloween on this special day. Basically, we're going to do a Mingles with Kraken and do some catch-up. Let's talk about the Amish deck builders. I'll share a few pictures. They got here on Monday and they had the place demoed by Tuesday morning. And within 3 days, they had both the front and the rear deck built. I'll be sharing some pictures here. I didn't take any pictures out of respect for their culture. They don't appreciate that. I have to say they did a fine job. The boys couldn't have been any nicer, but it was really fascinating getting to talk to them and hear about their lifestyle and how they live their lives. So that was kind of fun. I was chief cook, a bottle washer during their stay here. Let's just put it this way. For breakfast, it was 2 pounds of bacon, 20 eggs, a loaf of bread, toasted, and some hash browns. And then we graduated to lunch right after that, and then dinner after that. There was some biscuit-eating boys in the Amish community, I'm just saying. So then, the very next day after they left, Craig and Mrs. 𝕒𝕒𝕒𝕜 Racing stopped by for a visit. I already shot and posted a video about their visit on their way to Daytona, so it's been very busy happenings going on around this cabin. And then the very next day, I had forgotten that Mrs. Kraken had booked to have the exterior of the house, the logs treated, so they taped up the entire house and I couldn't get in or out of my house till they got done treating all the logs. So, man, it just seems like it's been going 100 miles an hour lately. Just, that's how life goes sometimes. And I have some leftover lumber that was left over from the job, so I'm excited to have that. I'm going to make a garden bench for Mrs. Kraken when she's out walking the dogs. She's going to have a seat and keep an eye on them while they're running around in the yard. And I'm also going to make a shooting bench. I do a lot of target shooting, and I'm into accuracy, and I'm going to build a very heavy-duty shooting bench. So I'm looking forward to that, and we'll see what's left over after I get those 2 projects done. So fall is among us, and this time of year, every year, I try to get people's wheels turning for next year. Don't sit on your laurels saying, yep, it was a great riding season and I'll see you next season. Right now is when you need to start planning your trips for 2026 if you have already put your bike up for the winter. A strong recommendation. It is well worth your journey no matter how far away you are. Go to Birmingham, Alabama and check out the Barber Museum. It is unbelievable. I sent Nathan, Outback Outlaw, to visit there while he was down here, and he just couldn't believe his eyes. It was unbelievable. The cost of the tickets just to go to that museum is $20 per day per adult and $15 for a child, or you can opt to have a weekend pass that goes from Friday to Monday for $40, which isn't a bad deal. Why would you want to stay all weekend? That's a fair question. How about over 1,800 motorcycles span over 100 years? They have the very first motorcycles ever built in the world with wooden wheels in that museum, up to current models. It's well worth your time to check it out. Representing in that museum is 220 different manufacturers that were manufactured by 22 different countries from all over the globe in that museum. If you start booking your reservations now and book your hotels, there's hotels right outside the museum and places to eat. There's also a Bass Pro shop right there as well, but you don't have to travel too far away, especially if you're on 2 wheels. I would stay out of Birmingham. There's some areas that you should avoid, and I'm not going to get into that on this video, but like any big city, no disrespects to Birmingham. Kind of put that on your radar. I'll have a link to it in the description down below, and I'll also post it up here somewhere for you to go check it out and maybe book a journey that will be unbelievable if you're a motorcycle enthusiast. On a side note, they also feature the world's largest Lotus car collection. as well as a lot of other exotic rare cars, if that's your cup of tea. And I forgot to mention there's also a track on the museum, and they actually run races at that museum as well. And the bridge goes over top of it. You can see from the windows the racing as you're going through the museum. Pretty cool. While I was talking about this, I shared a few pictures of when I rode my Vespa across the United States, and I stopped in Birmingham to check out that museum. It's amazing. Go. Enough said. Now, I preach a lot for people to take a motorcycle safety foundation class. Right now, ladies and gentlemen, is when you should be booking that appointment, because they book up solid before spring ever hits. Right now, the getting's good if you want to make your reservation. Now, here in the United States, I mean, check in your own country. Every country is different. Here in the United States, it's kind of a different flavor in every state. Here in Virginia, you pay anywhere from $300 to $500 for a course. My friends up in Pennsylvania, the state of Pennsylvania pays for their course, which I think is pretty darn nice of the state to promote motorcycling like that. So check in your state or country and see what's available, what classes are available that you can take in the off season is when you should book. So come riding time, you can do a quick tune-up over a couple of days course. Now, why I wanted to talk about this, and most people aren't aware of this, here in the United States, is the only one I can speak for. I can't speak for other countries. There's 3 different tiers of MSF classes. The first tier is what they call the first ride, and that's a dirt bike school, the basic rider course, how to use a clutch and a brake, that type of thing, and a basic rider course for 3-wheelers. Primarily Harley trikes and Can-Am Spyders are the clientele they're reaching out to, and I'm happy to see the 3-wheelers get representation in the safety classes. The second level is what they call the Improve Your Ride level. And the Basic Rider Course 2, so it's the sequel to the next version of things you should know on how to operate a motorcycle. The Basic Rider Course 2 skill practice, and that's a whole different can of worms. Read up on it. I'll have the link to them right up above, as well as down in my narrative as well. So be sure to check it out. And they also have the Rider Skills Lab. And I don't want to make this video too long talking about every level of that, but we're just going to end that right there. So check it out if you have any interest. Then the third tier is what they call the Advance Your Ride. And the first course is called the Adventure Rider Course, and the Advanced Rider Course, the Advanced Rider Course Skill Practice, and they also have the Rider Skill Lab, which is level 3. And you're getting into some really nuts and bolts of riding your bike and getting the most out of it and still not putting yourself in harm's way. So they sell out quickly, like I said. They're tough to get a class in springtime. They're normally booked way in advance. So that's my gentle advice this very late October. And with that said, I can't see, there's my ghost dog Daisy May. She's up here to remind me to wrap things up. If you liked that video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. If you want to see more in the future, hit the subscribe button somewhere down there in the corner. And remember, folks, go riding because it's good for you. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace. This thing is ridiculous. I always wanted to know what those blue pills were for. Now here's where you're supposed to say, is that your tentacle or are you just glad to see me? It won't stay on top of my head.
Not yet, it has to fill up. Watch what you're doing because you're whipping that around. It's going to whip everything off the mantle.
Folks, don't try this at home.